But first, I talked to a photographer, and I have to say, I have a little boy, and I just love to watch him. The crazy things he says and all the expressions he makes. And what drives me crazy is that I can never catch his expressions and personality in pictures. But I recently met a photographer who has spent his whole life capturing moments. Take a look at what makes Jack Henley portrait designs unique.
Probably a passion for capturing the moment. We love doing storybook albums and storybook photographs, and so we like to tell the story from the child coming in, getting the shot, and then catching them in their element, and whether they are a smiley child or a serious child. Helps us to showcase that child, and it just makes it all the more fun.
You said earlier that children make your heart sing, and I think that's so precious. And I think this picture behind us really shows some of that you've captured a moment in time, and this is such a young child, and you've spent so much time in detail capturing this image. What goes into an image like this?
Well, the image like that, the client comes in for a consultation, and they decide what they'd like for us to do. And so when we set this one up, we had it set up before they came in. It took about an hour to set this shot up. And so when the child came in, the child was already sleeping. And so we were able to get that shot. Later on, as the child, woke up, we were able to get some shots where the child was actually looking at the camera and stuff like that. But this was our favorite out of the whole session, and it was the first shot we did.
Oh, well, that's so cute. And you said that you come in for a consultation to begin with, and you actually offer some baby packages, don't you?
We do. If they get in our program, they get some extra perks. But when they get in our program, they also get the consultation, all the consultation time they need to decide, let's set this up. Do you want to use our clothing? We've got period clothing that if they want to look like the 1900s or whatever, we've got those clothing items that they can use. So we have to discuss that. And clothing makes a difference in the portrait. We want the background and the clothing to not conflict.
Oh, that's a good eye for detail. And speaking of clothing, it doesn't always have to be clothing. There is a couple gorgeous pictures, one of a baby and a bowl of spaghetti that I just love.
That shot, usually we get the client to let us know exactly when they're going to get here, because we've got to cook the spaghetti, and it has to be edible for the child. And so usually it ends up in the child's mouth, and we get those shots that you're just letting the child be the child. And we've got a baker hat that we put on them, and it's always fun, whether the child's smiling or frowning. It turns out to be a really neat photograph.
I was fascinated to try to figure out, too, how do you get the baby on the clothesline?
We've actually got the clothesline anchored in studs in our walls, so the baby is very, very safe. There's also a harness underneath the clothing that the baby is actually harnessed in before the clothing goes on, so the baby is actually safer hanging on our clothesline than he is crawling on our floor.
Oh, that's a good point. And you also do some outside photography as well. Where do you tend to go on location for that?
Many times we're going down to the Blackwater Creek area, Blackwater area, or some lake. We've got one lake that a wonderful client of ours has let us use with the weeping willow tree, and we can go there also. But many times it's either the parks or the Blackwater or to this farm.
I'd love also to talk about this very sweet image of this dad and his son, or his daughter, was it? And tell me more about this picture here.
Yes, this one was also a consultation where we knew exactly before they came in what we needed to do. Lighting was set, background was chosen because we wanted the daughter and the dad to stand out. Lighting skimming across, showing the detail. But what just amazed me, we never thought we would get the intimacy between the dad and the daughter in this shot. And we took about a dozen shots, but this one, when I saw the baby looking up at her dad, at only 2 weeks old, I wanted to jump off the camera. It was just amazing. So you never know what's going to happen, but children pull it off every time.
I've had some pictures done with you, and I also appreciate the time you put into it. We sat down, we looked at all the pictures. You're willing to put all that time and effort into everything.
Well, it's worth it. It's worth it. And the consultation time pays off. The best portraits we've ever done has been with a consultation before we did the portrait.
As a parent, too, I think it's so important, to be able to capture that moment in time and that picture with the child walking through the field of flowers. I think you're you have a great eye for it.
Well, it's just it's God. You know, sometimes you'll see the shot and you'll go, it's better than I even imagined it could be. You know, but the clients that bring the children to us are usually they have high expectations, and sometimes we're like almost shuddering. Oh, can I deliver for them this year what I did for them last year? But usually, you know, we come away with something that they really can cherish for years to come.
And Jack Henley does such great work. Check him out, 102 Cameron Road in Forest, 434-525-3759, or his website, jackhenley.com. There's all kinds of different images on there of all kinds of pictures you can take.